Well, it's understandable that you get a bit mixed up because the biggest movie this week, maybe the biggest movie this month, isn't a movie, which makes it a bit more unusual. We are, of course, talking about the Taylor Swift concert event. There's now,
when I read the name of this, right, I'm reading it as the Ear Ass Tour.
Yeah. Well,
now, what's going on there?
Well,
I'm obviously pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah, well, yes, I feel so, which is why, and we'll get to it in a moment.
Spelled EARAS.
Eras.
Eras. What does that mean?
Many different time periods.
I see.
Like an era, as in Jurassic Park era, Jurassic era.
Like the main street in Letterkenny with all the clocks at the different times at the minute.
Well, okay, that's not quite what I was going for. More like we went through the the grunge era and then the punk era and that sort of stuff. Okay. And what it's based around is Swiftie has been around for a long, long time in pop terms, but also she's been very prolific. Which some pop stars aren't. Now, when I was a kid, my favourite band growing up, because of my brother, was progressive rock band Rush from Canada, which wouldn't get a lot of airplay on Highland radio, I would imagine. Yeah. But like they used to release a 30-minute album pretty much every year, every 18 months. But then that changed with CDs. That bands would release an album maybe once every 5 years. It'd be about 60, 70 minutes. And that would happen. But Taylor is kind of pushed against that. She's released quite a lot of music for somebody who's been around for 17 years. There's people who've been around longer and have only had 3 or 4 albums. And with her last tour, she decided that she was going to play a sample of all her stuff rather than just touring the latest album, which most people do and do a couple of hits, that she was going to base it around almost like a Bruce Springsteen. When I was watching the concert, and we'll get to that in a minute, I was thinking of like the way Bruce Springsteen will kind of introduce all his various eras of stuff and have the background. So she has this big tour. And we were thinking about this, and it's all in cinemas, and it is just the film of the concert. There's no backstage stuff. There's no interviews. It is the show as people saw it live, the current US show, and the one that's coming to Ireland next summer called. And it's in the cinemas. It's almost 3 hours long. And I was thinking before we were going to watch this, I was thinking when I was a young man, listening to Rush and those sort of bands, I used to buy magazines. I don't think I'm allowed to mention them because I'm not sure they're around anymore. Like things like Krang and Metal Hammer, right? Oh yeah. And their favourite thing was to get the fella who loves only like death metal to review the Poison or those bands, who was clearly going to hate it, right? And they would just review things that they would clearly hate. They'd get the guy who loves only Napalm Death to do all the the ballad bands, right? And it was so boring. So I thought, before you and I talk about Taylor Swift, we should get a Taylor Swift mega fan, and all the way from Utah.
We've brought in the expert.
Yeah, via Bundoran. Yeah. We brought in Gracie, who's from Utah. And Gracie, would it be fair to say you're quite fond of Taylor Swift?
Yes, I would say so. I was telling you earlier, there's probably only like 6 years where Taylor wasn't in my life, because that's when I was 6 is when she would have started releasing music.
All right, okay.
So she's a huge part of my life, to say.
And why? Why? What was the attraction to Taylor Swift? Was it the music? Was it the personality?
I think it's a combination. Lyrically, I think she's one of probably the best lyricists of our time.
Okay.
And she's just been able to write into existence like universal feelings that not just like women growing up, and because we grew up with her, like she was young when she started writing and we've all grown up together. So I think that kind of those universal feelings and being able to relate to those has formed this huge group following that is the Swifties, as we call ourselves.
The Swifties.
I
love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Gracie, would it be fair to say as well, the part of the world you're from originally, because Taylor started off like country before she kind of went more pop and then sort of folklore, that she kind of was a big part of... it was on the radio, it was a part of life much more. And like, they love their country up here as well.
I think that's something people actually forget, that she really at heart is a country.
He is a country star. And I really, you saw that in the show. But I suppose, look, let's cut to the chase. So, Gracie, you've seen Taylor Swift live?
Yes, so I've actually gotten to see her twice. I went to her 1989 tour in 2014, and then I got to see her in Vegas in March with the Eras tour.
And can we just ask, because you told me this earlier, but everyone who's complaining about the price of tickets in Dublin, how much was the price of a ticket in Las Vegas?
Mine was $550.
What?
For a floor ticket. I was on the floor and I was really close to the stage. Like, we made eye contact.
So is that Golden Circle territory?
I would say so.
I'd want to be on stage for that price.
Yes, I know.
But we don't have it that bad when you think about it.
No, but having said that, so you've seen this particular show before. So what was the film like? You went to see it in the cinema last night. Mm-hmm. How was the experience?
It was so good. I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I think having seen her in person, I was nervous that like maybe it like wouldn't live up to it, but it totally did. And being in a theater with other people and people who were excited and singing along, like it was so positive. I was so happy.
Okay. And is it something that this is obviously something that families can go along to see and enjoy?
Yeah.
What about, so you're a super fan, obviously, okay, but what about your casual Taylor fan? Are they going to get as big a kick out of it?
I would say so. And this is what I was telling Collie, is that I paid so much for my ticket, and you can go have like a similar experience and see the same show for like 25, not even 25 quid. Like
that's the adult tickets as well. Like in the posh screens, you can actually get them even cheaper than that.
Yeah. So I would say even if you're not a Swiftie and you want to, if you're thinking like, what is the hype? Like, what's the big deal? Like, go see it and like experience it for like so cheap.
Yeah, really. Yeah, really. And this seems to be something that seems to be catching on now.
I think it's going to be more of a thing.
Live
I know
music events.
Yeah, like even the comedian Kevin Bridges is going to be shown on screen. It was announced the other day. But like Rory, now of the three of us, which I didn't realise as we walked in, I am the only one who didn't see Taylor Swift actually live in person. You saw her presumably in Dublin, was it? Or
in Croke Park.
In Croke Park.
5-6 years ago. Yeah.
And how was it?
Do you know what? I was pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. Now, I didn't know any of her music, right? I wasn't a fan. I went along because I got a free ticket, right? But I really enjoyed it. Yeah. And what I thought was really cool was at the entrance, the PR guys were like, "Oh, here, guys, here's a gift from Taylor," and I was like, "Oh, really? Just for me? Just for me?" She knew I was coming, and it was like a little wristband that lit up.
Yeah.
And then when it got dark outside, then that we were actually connected to the lighting show. Yeah. So these things came alive when the concert started, and it was really cool.
It is amazing.
On one hand, I was like, you've brought me along, you've given me a gift, and really you just want me to be part of your lighting rig.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then that was the cynical side, but once I saw it, it was really cool.
Well, and now, so as somebody who hasn't seen any concert of Taylor Swift, I went to watch it in the cinema yesterday. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, I was on my own. I was doing the test screening, right? And I was watching my own. And I'll be honest with you, I had my laptop open. I was thinking I might catch up with some emails. I caught up with no emails. I really enjoyed this, Rory. And I am not fan. I don't mind Taylor Swift, but I'm not a fan. I could probably name 7 or 8 songs. That's about it.
That's 6 more than I could name.
And
that's no disrespect.
Yeah, no, it's such a good show. And I was just watching going.
But you do find yourself singing along.
Of course, yeah.
Because I do know that
because
song.
they're catchy. It is perfect pop music. It's what pop music should be. Love Me Do or Shake It Off. It doesn't matter. It's really good, fun stuff. And I was watching the show going, this is a brilliant show. She's so good at this. So she's so confident.
That's in cinemas now.
It's in cinemas now. It's only on weekends. They're only allowed show week, maybe Thursdays as well. So don't worry if you don't see it in the listings. It'll be on next weekend too. Okay. Highly recommend it. If people who aren't big fans like it and super fans like it, it's something else. And one last thing, I was reading a review in the paper today, and the woman said, look, I went to see her twice live. The wind caught the sound. It wasn't great. Perfect sound in the cinema. It's a great way to see it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You're not at the mercy of the elements. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's Taylor Swift, the Eras. No.
Eras.
Tour.
You'll get it there. You'll get it.
God almighty. The Eras Tour. Oh, I get it now. Era.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. God, I feel so stupid now. Right, I think it's time for a commercial break. We're going to talk Killers of the Flower after this. Don't go anywhere.
Crawford Tiles and more Castlefin. Now stocking Chronospan high quality laminate flooring. AC4 rated with a 20-year guarantee. 8mm $9.99 to $10.99 a square yard. 10mm $12.50 a square yard. 12mm $14.99 a square yard. High gloss $16.99 a square yard. In stock and ready to go. That's Crawford Tiles Castlefin. 914392.
At Centra, shop smart and feel good with great offers until Sunday. Like Moretti 12 bottle pack, only €15. Lucozade 6 bottle pack, only €3. And KitKat 2 finger bars 9 pack, only $1.50. So shop smart, feel good. Centra, live every day. Enjoy a call sensibly.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why.
The Lotto jackpot is a guaranteed €2 million. Play responsibly in-store, in-app or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
Stay warm for less this autumn with Homeland. 5-pack of wood logs, buy 3 for €13. Hardwood log crate, 450 kg, only €329. With nationwide delivery available. Shop in store or online at homeland.ie.
We're inviting you to our 241 open weekend at iMotors. Join us from the 20th to the 22nd of October, Friday, Saturday and Sunday to test drive a range of Kias and Nissans. With finance rates as low as 3.9%, come and see how affordable a new car can be. Free service plans and many more offers. This is not to be missed. Check out imotors.ie for opening times. We look forward to seeing you.
For all your training needs, Northwest Forest Services Training Department Ballybuffet offer a wide range of training courses from training bodies such as NPTC City and Guilds, QQI Lantra and ABA International. They also now do quad courses in line with the new guidelines and regulations for all quad users. If you have a group, they can come to you. For a full list of training courses and availability, contact Northwest Forest Service Ballybuffet on 074 913233.
A massive thank you to all our customers for your continued support in giving us a massive 15th birthday here at Evolve Clothing Letterkenny Retail Park. You make this possible, so thank you. Enjoy. Up to 20% off all this weekend.
Minutes to midday. We are talking all things movies, and Collie McFadden joins me live in studio. Next on the list is this is one now that I've been keeping an eye on for a while, and it's finally hitting theatres on the 20th.
Yeah, next Friday.
Yeah, it's Killers of the Flower Moon, and this is directed by Martin Scorsese, and of course, who's in there? DiCaprio's in there, Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons as well, who's always good. He always plays small roles in films. He's always so good. People might know him from Friday Night Lights, among other things. But this might be the best reviewed movie of Scorsese, DiCaprio and De Niro's career, and that is saying something.
That is a big statement.
I have not even seen a 4-star review of this, and I'm including both in the sort of highbrow papers that you would expect that, and also people just going, this is just a cracker. And what even more surprising about this is well over 3 hours long. I think it's 3.5 hours long, and people are still saying gripping, amazing, not a wasted moment in it, because we've talked before about the length of movies, and really what it comes down to, if the story is good enough, the length of the movie doesn't matter. What happens too often is we have 2-hour movies that should have been an hour and a half, and that's what's boring. But sometimes you have a 3.5 hour movie, even at, say, Avengers Endgame, and you go, I was gripped all the way through, because that's how long it took the story to tell. And this is a story, it's about the Native Americans being moved to, they were moved out of their land, and part of the land they were moved to, oil is found, and suddenly the rich people wanted to come in and move them off their land, and there's a series of murders, and really it comes down to, because they're Native Americans, nobody really cares in 1930s America, and DiCaprio gets involved in it, the FBI get involved in it, and it's a murder mystery. It's a very famous book, one that I wasn't familiar with at all, but Scorsese is now 80, and to be 80 and making a movie like this that is so well reviewed, I cannot wait to see it next Friday. It looks fascinating, thrilling. He's used some of the de-aging things, I think, again, because it's talk about eras. I think it spans many decades. Yeah, you're never going to get over that one. Many decades again, with the cast that they have, it just looks absolutely brilliant. When we talked about Oppenheimer, we were going, well, surely, these people are running away with the Oscars for next year. Yeah. From the response Killers of the Flower Moon has got, I'm not so
Serious
sure.
Contender.
Serious contender.
Okay.
And is that brilliant? It's brilliant to have a debate about that. That means we've lots of good movies. When it's so obvious who's winning, it means the other movies weren't great
And
that year.
in spite of everything that's going on at the minute, I know part of the strikes have been resolved. The actors, so the writers have come to a resolution and an agreement. The actors union haven't yet. So is this one of the movies that could have been potentially affected by it, or what?
Well, I think what we're going to have is we won't have interviews with DiCaprio or De Niro, although De Niro is famously a rubbish interview. But what we do have instead, we've got Martin Scorsese, who you could listen to in such an encyclopedic knowledge of all movies, from like movies from the 1900s to like recent films. He has seen everything. I don't know how the man can make 3.5 hour movie at the age of 80 and still have watched more movies in the last year than I have, but he has. So it's great. You just probably won't see those people publicising it, but with a movie this good, it probably doesn't need DiCaprio to be on Graham Norton telling anecdotes. The movie speaks for itself.
Okay, so that's hitting screens on the 20th of October.
Friday,
the new movie with Maggie Smith, Kathy Bates, very quickly, we'll talk about that.
Set in Dublin, not an Irish person in it, although Sean O'Casey, the playwright's granddaughter, is in it. It's a lovely little, very simple, feel-good tale. You wouldn't believe a little bit of it. Your mammies and granny are going to be very happy to see it. If you like Downton Abbey, that sort of slightly unrealistic, feel-good sort of movie, or the original Mrs. Brown's Boys movie with Angelica Houston, it's that sort of thing. It's done really well. It only opened yesterday, and already loads of people are going to see it. And I think tonight, between Taylor and Miracle Club, the people who really don't like the rugby are all going to be in floods going to see this.
It's called Miracle Club.
The Miracle Club. It's set in Dublin in the 1960s. They want to go to Lourdes.
I saw a few clips, all right. I think this might do a little bit better outside Ireland, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's
the Irish accent.
It's Irish. It's Irish. And like those are brilliant actors who can probably do an Irish accent. And I bet you they were told, no, that's not the Irish accent we want. We want the top of the morning accent rather than the way we really talk.
Stereotypical.
And like I'm from Dublin, and it's meant to be Northside Dublin, but it's all Bigara, But I don't think that matters because it's kind of a fairy tale anyway. So that should be good. And then, of course, we've a lot of Halloween stuff as well.
Okay, so what's happening over Halloween? there will be the inevitable re-releases. Hocus Pocus is going to be
Pocus,
there.
Nightmare Before Elm Street, or Nightmare
on Elm
Before
Street.
Christmas and The Nightmare on Elm Street will both be released. Don't get those mixed up if you're bringing
Nightmare
kids.
Before Christmas movie or Halloween movie?
I think it's a Halloween movie.
Okay.
I think it's a Halloween movie. And certainly so did the distributors. But the one I want to flag up is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, yes.
I wasn't aware of this. It was a cult game, and we started getting emails, a lot from teenagers going, are you getting this movie? I hadn't heard of it. It's about an old it was a pizza place that closed down, and the robots that ran it are haunted. It's silly, scary movie, but it's really
It already
popular.
has a bit of a cult following, this one.
We got an email from a chap in Finn Valley College, I won't mention his name, but he had made a load of paper mache dolls of it. It's amazing, and I know they're going to be appearing on social media soon and so on. Like, people love this, and I wasn't aware of it at all. I always feel old, but I felt extra old because this is a whole cult that passed me by. This is going to be a huge movie, and I don't think any of us saw it coming.
No,
and that's at the end of the month, just in time for the Halloween holidays, so that'll be good.
Okay. Collie, great to talk to you as always. Next month, November, we're probably going to have to start talking Christmas. Yeah, okay. So we will talk to you at the beginning of November. Thanks so much for calling in to see us this morning. Gracie, thanks for coming in. Great to talk to you. And listen, we'll probably see you at the Taylor Swift concert in Dublin. So listen, thanks for coming in to see us this morning, and we will talk to you in November.
Bye.